Okay, hello, this is Krill again. I'm about to play turn 83 of PB15. I'm the last person to play this turn, so whilst I'm going to go through it slowly to make sure that I don't make any stupid mistakes like I've been doing recently, I am kinda in a rush to play it so that Sadoa and Novice can play it before before it's too late for them. Okay, so Novice moved his archer to scout around. Thoth's improved his gem tile and moved everything around. Nothing else readily noticeable. Nothing in the event log, and there's nothing near the warrior. So the first thing I'm going to do this turn is I'm going to roll the dice. Well, actually no. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check that the calculation's right. That I take this battle at 77.9% odds, and I will get 3 XP from it. Promoting the chariot to combat 2 increases the odds of winning to 88.8%. Giving it shock increases the odds to 90.8. So, but I only gain 2 experience in both cases. So, before I make this decision, I'm actually going to see what units I've got with good experience. Chariot 3 has 6 experience points. I've got a lot of units with 3 experience points because they were built in cities with barracks. To be honest, that's about it. There's a 4 experience axe, and there's an archer with 8 experience points. That archer is only going to gain experience points now by killing spears on flatland. There's nothing it can kill now. So I've really only got another chariot. So this is basically the best battle to take, and I'm just going to take it now. If I win, I'm going to be really happy. If I'm sad, well, I'm going to be sad if I miss and I lose the battle. But there's nothing to do now but to take it. So here we go. Oh, thank fuck for that. As you can see, 10 experience points. So I've now got heroic epic sorted. That is not a problem at all. That makes the run to literature much more viable for me. Obviously, with the costs I have, that's not the most important point, really. I'm going to have to save gold now after calendar, and in fact even before calendar. But that does improve my options slightly. Just to check the combat log. Yeah, the chariot just about 1, 2, yeah. $17. So yeah, I'm just really happy that that actually worked out for me. The rest is to work out in this area's micromanagement around how to hook up food and chop. Now that that axe is dead, as I discussed last turn, there's nothing from Novice or Thoth, so there's nothing that's changed around here. Really, I'll just do the very basic micromanagement. And farm that. I'm moving to that cottage, so I either move directly south because there's no more. if I move south, there's only one tile that a barb unit can be on, so that's much safer than moving on to the sheep and being next to three. And I'm not uncovering fog of war, so I'm actually just going to move south. If there's anything on that forest, it's going to have odds on that warrior, except potentially an archer if I move onto the hill, but even then it's pretty close, so I'm just going to move. That's okay. So the rest of it is just now just there's nothing special now on this turn. This bowman could potentially be difficult, but I'm actually just going to move the axe back into the city. The bowman moves onto the plains hill, and then he'll see the fact I've got a chariot and warrior and the axe. He'll know that he can't do anything stupid with it. So there's nothing to worry about there with that bowman. So move the axe back to the city because it'll heal quicker, and then I can move it out to reposition it. Moving the spear to defend two cities. Obviously it's not ideal. If Novice moved a worker onto this forest so that he could chop it or road it, then he could hit say Baron again with with chariots, and that horse is now hooked up, so Novice does have the ability to build chariots. Aram collusion's much safer considering the amount of vision it's got. But it's just say Baron again. Once the borders pop in say Baron again and I get the hills, I'll just have vision on anything that Novice can throw at this city a turn before, so it'll be fine. Anything else? What am I doing? I just need to do the micromanagement for this city quickly, because I can move both workers now onto the forest, onto two forests, and chop on turn 84, 5 and 6. So I'd have 3, 4, 5 and 6, so another 4 turns. So I'd be at 15. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the because where will city 7 be in 4 turns? It'll have worked the Wales this turn, and then for 1 it'll use, and then it can use the corn for 3 turns, and it will grow. Even though it only needs to use the corn for 2 of those, it could use the whale for the 3rd. If I use the corn, it'll just gain 3 food that'll help it regrow to size 2 after I slave it. So I'm not that concerned about using the corn. So yeah, I'm going to move what are the worker names? 4 and 5. I'm going to move the workers 4 and 5 to the forest. Fortify that. Yeah, I'm just I split the workers because otherwise, unless both the workers are free to move, you won't necessarily get a warning that one of the workers is sitting there with movement points, and so it can do something. You won't necessarily see that, so you best split them when you get towards the end of finishing in a tile improvement. Ideally, you should never group workers, but it's easier it just saves you clicks and saves you time to group them sometimes, but it's not good for the actual micromanagement aspect. So yeah, now I'm going to make 7 food per turn in Here Tomorrow Big, grow in 2 turns. As it's producing 7 times 2, or 14 food over those 2 turns, it'll save 14 food, the maximum possible in the granary. Overflow over 4 anyway, so it'll be at 18 food, needing 30. I'm not working the farm, that's stupid. Work the commerce at least. Yeah, it'll be 18 out of 30, so I can just work the hill, the mine for... I could work the mine for 2 turns and grow again, but I wouldn't do that because I'm just growing into unhappiness, so I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to grow for 2 turns and then move off that sugar onto the hill and work around and work out here. So yeah, the worker micro here is not so great. The not worker micro. Yeah, it's good enough. Those two cities will do. Um, yeah. If I make the library, I don't want to work all of the tiles. I only want to work 2 of the hills um, to get to 18 hammers per turn, which is a 5-turn library build. Even if I make 21 hammers, it's still a 5-turn library build. Or would it be because of overflow? I would have to overflow out 9 hammers from this spearman to do that. I'll make 12 this turn, puts it to 28. Next turn I'll work a hill instead of a farm, so I'll make 15. I'll make 28 plus 15. I would overflow out 8. I'd overflow out 8 hammers, not 9. I could put a chop into it, but I don't want to do that. I could mine this hill if I had a worker in position, as in move the worker from ARAM collusion to do that, but I don't think that even gets done quickly enough. I think, oh no, it might get the mine done just in time to save that turn, but it's not worth it. I'd rather give the tiles up to, give some more tiles up to ARAM collusion and let that work improve tiles, and not slave it as hard. Here tomorrow big. What do I build here? What do I build here? Let's just look for something funny here. I'll put it as a workboat temporarily. I will not finish the workboat. No, it's not quite possible to get a workboat from here tomorrow big anywhere. I'm planning to do from Save Iron again to the City 7 site. Can't quite. I'd need a fort on one of these tiles, and I can't actually do it. Otherwise, it would be possible, because I'd put a fort on where the workshop is. I'd put a fort on one of these 2 tiles, fort on the desert hill, plains hill, and grassland. Just put a fort there, and I could do it. It's not quite possible. It's pretty close though. So it's pretty funny. I find that it's good to try and do that on maps that have a lot of water. But it'd be funny to do it on a map with so little water as well. Gonna just build an archer in this city. It'll make 5 plus 4, 9 hammers total, and then it'll work 2 hills for making 10 hammers a turn. So it'll overflow out 4 hammers. The archer can go. The unhappiness this city's got to whip unhappiness. One of them wears off in 5 turns. It takes me 2 turns to grow, and it would take me a further 2 turns to grow to size 6. What I'm actually going to do is slow grow on to size 6. So I'll actually finish. I won't. I need to work out this micromanagement actually. So if I worked that 1 tile, I'd still grow in 2 turns. So what I'd need to do is I'd need to use that tile for 1 of those turns, and then move off the sugar and onto the plains hill, I think. Yeah, I could do that, and that'd still finish it in time. It'd mean that it would grow to size 6 just as that unhappiness from the last slave wore off. Well, actually from one of the first slaves, but it's the same thing. So yeah, I'll grow in 2 turns, and then I'll grow in 3 turns, and then I'll be at size 6. I can build a worker. That'll be ideal. There. Anything else? 2 workers improving the rice. Got the resets doing a worker. Reishadonga is growing to size 7 and then doing whatever, which might be worker, will not be a settler under any circumstances, and almost it's probably going to have to be a library, because I've got nothing else to do in that city that makes any sense. I don't need the military. ARAM collusion, because I'm looking at doing that library in Reishadonga, it can keep some of these tiles. Doesn't need to be whipped as hard, and in fact I could consider whipping now on this turn, whipping off a cottage It's a 2 yield tile plus commerce, so it doesn't lose anything into the don't lose anything into the worker. I'd still make 13, which is 65. I would overflow out 5 hammers, but plus the whip would make it 35 hammers into a library. Um, Basically, it's I can do 2 1-pot whips and take the extra unhappiness for 10 turns, or I can just do a 2-pot whip and lose 10 hammers, which is more important to me. I actually think that a 10 hammer loss from doing a double pot whip is actually fine in this city. Again, I kind of don't want to chop that forest because I do kind of want to keep it for a potential wonder build, but I'm gonna almost certainly have to. I think chop that tile. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all. After ARAM collusion, you're looking at Say Baron again. It grows this turn. I'm going to scrimp and scrape for every commerce. I'm going to work a lake rather than the grass forest to speed up calendar as much as I can. It might not even be a turn, but it might help me. It might be a turn actually. I don't even know it's that close. But I'm going to grow this turn and then give up and work 2 scientists, and I might not work the sheep, or I may work the sheep. I don't know. It depends because again, looking at ARAM collusion. Um, I don't. If I were to triple whip this city, I'd have to grow 1 population and find 20 hammers. Well, 5 overflow plus um, 5 over plus 11. I'd get them in 2 turns, but I need to find 15 food. If I will stop working if I swapped over onto grass cottage and off a hill and onto the sheep, I'd save 4 extra food. That makes 6, means I'd grow in 3 turns anyway, so that's not a problem. I would be able to triple whip, but it would be better. I don't want to triple whip. I don't want to waste that many hammers. I don't have that much food to really regrow either, so I've got to consider just chopping 2 tiles potentially, or just chopping 1 and then building it the rest of the way using the hammers. I could easily grow to size 7 actually if using the sheep, swapping over onto these 2 tiles, which again I don't really want to because I want to use at size 4. I want to use a cottage rather than a lake tile and Say Baron again. So actually I've got to look at some of the what to do with this worker, because I need to maybe I need to put another cottage down, maybe I need to put down a farm, maybe I need to chop immediately. I probably don't have to chop immediately if it can wait, because if the library's going to take 6 turns, I can chop on the 6th turn just as easily as the first turn. But I can do that all next turn after I hit enter. Doesn't matter for this turn. Yeah, I used the whale this turn and use the corn next turn, and just keep on using the oasis until the granary's complete, and then use the corn for 2 turns and save 11 food in the granary, and overflow out. Yeah, and grow to size 2 with a total of 27 food in the food box. So I'd overflow 5 out. So I'd be at 16 food at size 2, needing 24 to grow. So I'd be making 6, 7. So I'd again grow in 2 turns. If I had the sheep tile hooked, let me just count this. It might even be possible to do that. 1, 83, 84, then it's split to 85, 86. Actually, I could theoretically speaking get the sheep tile done. It would be really funny because I'd actually be moving these workers into the city to mine, and they'd be on separate turns. Then I'd be moving to the plains, the desert hill to do something for a turn, and then pasturing the sheep. But the workers here would actually would have to rotate round by making roads, because I still need to mine these 2 hills. So I could get the sheep done, but it would be a bit weird. I'm probably best off just making sure that the hills are mined. Actually could use 1 worker from these 2 to do the sheep, because what is it? Chop on 4, 5, 6. So on 7, I can get 1 turn into it. 7, 87. I could get one pasture turn done. I could get another two done for a total of 3 on 88. But if I got an extra worker there on 88 to pasture, then I could get it done fine. These two workers, one will be finished next. One will be free next turn to mine the roaded hill on 4, 5, and 6. On 7, it can put a turn into the desert hill, and then on 8, it could actually help finish that sheep. So that might be the best way to do it. So on 86, to finish that on 87, it would, but I don't even need that sheep done till 89. So even then, it's not even necessary to do it like that, because I can still wait a turn to get the sheep done. And the question is, do I want to slave a barracks at size 3 or at size 2? Almost certainly do it at size 3 because I want to keep that sheep worked and I want to use that corn for as long as possible as well, obviously. So using those two tiles just to grow and then whip immediately, and grow and whip immediately. To get, yeah, that'd be ideal. So that's all of that done. I'm now going to, just to make sure that nothing really obnoxious happens, like a chariot comes out of the fog of war to kill that chariot of mine, I'm actually going to cover it with with another chariot. The only loss is that I've not got that chariot to cover Sabaron again, but I've still got a chariot, and I've now got the spear in position. I would have had enough gold to upgrade the warrior as well, but after this turn I won't even have that. So it's something. So yeah, I can no longer upgrade warriors. No, this isn't too bad. Going through the cities again quickly just to check. Yeah, it's not too bad. I do need to get that fort completed. Oh yeah, this city's just obvious work the rise for as long as possible now. And again, whip at size 2. If I get 2 chops into the library and whip that, regrow and whip a barracks, and then that city will be out of stuff to build other than probably build another archer, because an archer would be quite nice in that city just to bulk out the number of defenders. Oh, actually, no, I'm against Thoth and he's playing Persia. Screw that, I can't put archers in that city. Another spear then. That axe actually has to move up a single tile, so it can get over the river and then into City 6, otherwise it delays it a turn because of the river. So yeah, need to keep it there. That's most of the turn done. Go back to demographics. Who's that crop yield? Thoth, yes, Thoth running 1 billion cities. Well, one less than me. Everyone else is a bit further behind. Let's go look at the GM. Ooh, Thoth's turned on tech at last. Thoth was obviously saving gold, is now researching something, so I really ought to be wary that he's researching horseback riding. Always have to be wary of that. And there's no way to check anymore. So just to go check again, 313 beakers saved into calendar. I need 522. That means I need 209 adjusted beakers. I'm currently making 80 this turn, but that's actually 81 because of the free beaker that you get from the ether. That everyone gets 1 beaker per turn free. So I make 97 adjusted beakers. What was it I needed? 209. So 209 minus that. I need 112 over the next 2 turns, and I will have a mere 28 gold saved. So I actually could go at 60%. I make 48. I make 48 basic, but that's 49 with the free one, and then swapping. I'll lose 2 commerce but gain 3 beakers, so that's 4 beakers net in Sabaron again. So that's actually 5 beakers net considering the Oh yeah, well, then again, yeah, slider. Um, so that's going to be at least 5 because 3, so 54. Um, any other city growing? But there's a yeah, but that hamlet grows, so that makes so that's actually a nice round 55, pretty much. Actually, now I'm going to move off of Wales. 53 times 1.2, 63. So 209 minus 97 minus 63. So I'd need on that final turn with a mere what 5 gold or so in the bank. Um, so I basically need to get to break even. Well, 30% is close enough. I'd make 23 base plus the scientists. So it's looking like it's going to be. It's not going to be a 3-turn calendar. It's going to be a. It's going to be a 4-turn calendar now. Pretty much bob on. Yeah, that looks like that's the entire turn done. I'll just take a few screenshots and then hit enter. Don't need anything. So there's a. Yep. That's one. Just to look at the top 5 cities, um, Narvis has got 2 in top 5. The culture because of wonders. You can see split Henge and Oracle into 2 different cities. That's actually going to be a little bit obnoxious for him because it means that because of when he built them, he's very likely to get. I've Lambert McCarthy. He's very likely to get great profits out of these 2 cities. Whilst he's got a holy city, a shrine's not particularly good because it's that religion's not spread very far, so he won't get much gold out of it. Maybe the same. Might be better off even settling one of the priests, on the prophets. It makes it hard for him to get an academy, but I don't know how fast he's researching anyway, or how much he'd even benefit from that. But it also makes it really hard for him to get an engineer. I mean, if I look at some of his cities, I see there is a forge, granary, a monument. I see a barracks, granary, and monument. Forge, granary, monument. Obviously, he gets monuments because he's got henge. That's why I'm saying it. But it's still giving him culture. A lot of these. It also why he's still not able. He doesn't have to build barracks, even though he's aggressive. It's like it's free culture. He doesn't even have to invest in that. So he's kind of moved away from benefiting from that a little bit. But if he's not waging war and he doesn't need the promotion, it's not a loss. Yeah, Oracle, Granary. I can't see a forge in that city. Palace. It just makes it very difficult for him to get an engineer out. I mean, one of the standard plays for. I'm going to hit enter now, actually, but one of the standard plays for one of the standard plays for industrious leaders is to Oracle metal casting, get a forge, run your engineer, and get pyramids. And that's the same no matter what mod you're playing, pretty much balance mod anyway. Simply because you need the mids is just too expensive to build by hand unless you have stone. If you don't have stone, it's a very worthwhile use of a great person. It's just hard for him to do that because if he's built the fort, if he's running an engineer there, he's still very likely to get a profit, which is gonna not really do anything for him. But then again, he doesn't have many other options. If he wants a great scientist, again, he can't really try and get a great scientist in that either. He's kind of, I think he kind of got a bit unlucky there by doing this. But then again, he can't build both wonders in the same city because there's no way he just generate too many great people points from the 2 wonders in one city. So he could never get an engineer out. So really, this is the only way he could do it. unless he'd gone for a really weird strategy where he'd rushed out to 3 cities and then tried to build both wonders, which would be insane because there's no way in hell he could defend 3 cities if he did that. Anyway, I'm going to end this turn now. I'm not going to play turn 84 right now. I'm going to go and get something to eat. So yeah,